Hey everyone, and welcome back to Small Engine Edge. Today we're going to talk a little bit about pickup and delivery. I've been asked this by small engine repair businesses quite a bit that are just starting out who are trying to ponder whether or not they should do this for customers. It all comes to convenience for the customer, right? They may not have a truck or a trailer, a big enough car to fit their equipment in to bring it to you. So you offer that service in order to get more customers essentially. But those things don't always transfer into profits. When should you and when should you not offer pickup and delivery repair services? I'm going to go over all that coming straight up. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button as we go along if you enjoy the content. The first thing you need to figure out is the actual cost of doing this service. If you're going to do this, that doesn't just mean your insurance or your gas cost or your vehicle cost, maintenance on that vehicle. That also includes your time. Do you actually have enough time to do this? If you're a one-man show who's working a full-time job and you're only working 10, 20 hours a week in small engine repair, does it make sense to go spend 2, 4, 6 hours out on the road picking up and delivering equipment? Probably not. It's probably not something that makes a lot of sense unless you're trying to get those customers, unless you don't have enough work currently. If you don't, it may make sense to selectively choose some pickup and deliveries or do those for like high ticket items, zero turns, riding mowers, commercial mowers, stuff that you're going to get paid a large amount of money on. But if it's something where you don't have the time to do it, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to take away from your shop time to do those. If you're already busy in the shop and you're filling all of your time with just those repairs, do not just jump into small engine repair to jump into it thinking, hey, it'll get me more business, because you've already got enough business that you can handle. Until you go down to your part-time or start to work less hours, or maybe you have a slower time of the year, then you can add in some of those things. If you do not have the equipment to do it, obviously you can't do it. You've got to figure in the costs of purchasing those things. A truck. When we started out, I used just a Dodge Dakota. It's kind of lower to the ground with some ramps. I'd load a riding mower up into it. I could fit up to a 48-inch mower and kind of let it hang on the tailgate, which isn't real good for the truck, but it worked well. I'd strap it in, throw the ramps back up in there, and it worked great because it was so low to the ground, I could pretty much push anything up in there just by myself without any assistance. If you're doing larger pieces of equipment than that, it's going to be very hard to get those up into the truck, or a truck that's real high by yourself. You're not going to be able to push a riding mower up in there likely, or you're going to need some assistance. But if you've got just a smaller truck like that, it may work out great. We used to I'd go out and pick up 4 push mowers at a time. If you've got a smaller piece of equipment like that, we'd do it just a couple days a week, like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday and Thursday, whatever your schedule works out to be. That's how I started out doing it, and it worked pretty well for me. It was because I wanted all that business, though. I was trying to chase that business and get as much business as I could, and that's why I started doing pickup and delivery. I do free pickup and delivery in town. We always have and likely always will. I don't suggest you do that. Charge some sort of amount to cover those costs. I did it because I was working my way through this small engine repair business very slowly. I was doing it as a full-time gig, and then I went to part-time. If you're doing it that way, maybe that makes sense for you. If you're in an area where, like around here, Bloomington Normal, we've got 140,000 people. Within just the area of town, you can run a route very quickly and pick up a bunch of pieces of equipment. If you get a trailer or you have a trailer, it's very easy to just make one quick route and you're done in an hour. You've got 15 pieces of equipment on the trailer, or you've dropped and picked up, and it doesn't really cost you a whole lot of money at that. That's why we always did it, and now I've got a full-time driver. He's full-time, really part-time during the rest of the year besides the busy season, but make sure that you have that equipment and make sure you have the time to do those things. If you don't have the time or the equipment, you've got to figure that cost, right? At least $5,000 for a truck, depending on the trailer size, $2,000, $3,000 for a trailer. Insurance on those, you got to figure gas and maintenance on those vehicles. And then what happens if your truck breaks down, if you don't have a backup? Then you're really in a tight spot, because you've got to figure out how to get that equipment picked up or get it delivered without having the equipment. Costs add up very quickly. So unless you have some of those pieces of equipment or additional vehicles laying around, it's kind of hard to get involved in. If you're in a very rural area, I would suggest charging quite a large amount, which we do also if we go out beyond town. Because say it's 20 minutes away, by the time you figure pickup and delivery, that's an hour out of your day just to go there and back for one piece of equipment. Unless it's a large commercial zero turn or a riding mower that needs a bunch of work or they've approved a bunch of work on, it probably doesn't make sense. Be selective with the pickups at first. You can do that. If you're not advertising pickup and delivery and people are asking, add that in every now and again. If it makes sense for you to go pick that up, add it in. If you don't advertise it and people ask, sometimes you can just do those things without anybody really getting word that you do it. Basically, you don't, but in certain instances, you may, if you have, again, the equipment to be able to do that. The big thing that I would say is very stressful is if people have you pick up their equipment, want you to estimate it or whatever, and don't get back to you. You pick up their equipment, they don't get back to you forever, and then you're holding on to their equipment, A, and B, you haven't made anything off that yet. It's sitting around. If you don't have space for that, it's kind of a pain or it's in your way, and then they don't want it repaired. Well, then you've got to bring it back to them. If you're offering free pickup and delivery, you've got to have some sort of exit plan there. Well, it's free pickup and delivery if we're repairing or servicing your mower, but otherwise there will be a pickup and delivery charge. Only makes sense, right? You got to pay for your time somehow. So figure those things in. For us, especially on consumer equipment, it makes perfect sense to do no pickup and delivery charge. Many times the routes we do are, again, 12, 15 items because you're picking up and dropping off. We just kind of work them in. So you do it all in one big route. Many days there are 2-3 routes a day, which is fine. That's fine. The driver works it out great and it works out good for us, but it depends on what your situation is. If you're in a rural area, that doesn't make any sense. There's no reason for you to commit a truck and trailer plus some time of whether it's you or another person, 20 or 30 minutes one way there and one way back and not charge a fair amount. That's probably going to cost you anywhere between $15 and $30 just in gas and time expense if you're paying somebody. Make sure that you get reimbursed for that, even if it's something where you're not going to end up repairing it. So if that's the case, if you're going that far out, charge that $50 or $75 fee or whatever you're charging. Around here, the dealers, they're charging $65 within a 5 or 10 mile radius of their company. I can't remember what it said, but I thought that was rather interesting that even when we go out further, we don't charge quite that. We usually will charge $50 if we're going that far. But it depends on your situation. Again, rurally, you're going to want to charge quite a large amount. Make sure that you're able to continue to fulfill those pickup and deliveries during your busy season too, though. If there's going to be times where you're constantly picking it up and delivering and you don't have the help to do it, that's going to put you into a tight spot during those busier times. You're not going to be able to work on equipment as opposed to doing those pickup and deliveries. I used to go out in the morning and do it for about 2 hours. First thing in the morning, I'd get up and I'd go 6 a.m., 6 to 8. Have your equipment outside or be ready for me to be there very early. Some people don't like that, but hey, most people are up at that time of day. At least I believe so, but most people would just leave them out. So I'd go and pick them up and it'd be easy. It's easier if you just have people leave them out if they're comfortable with it. Makes things quicker and easier for you so you don't have to stand there and talk to them for 10 minutes. And especially when you're in a big route and you've got to do all this in a certain amount of time before you open. I always kept hours even when I was out of my house. If you're not keeping hours, it makes it a lot easier for you also. You can do them whenever you like, come and go or whatever. But if you are keeping hours at your business, that does make it a little bit difficult. Bottom line is pickup and delivery makes sense, but only in certain instances, depending on your operation. If you have help, if you have the extra manpower, if you have the equipment, if there's customers in nearby locations that you can do it without it costing you a lot of time or money, or do one big swoop where you're picking up a bunch without having to make single trips. That goes to say that's if you have a large enough trailer to fit those things. I think pickup and delivery is an integral part of small engine repair, and everybody should have some sort of pickup and delivery, in my opinion. If you're looking for somebody to help, retired people, Had a couple retired guys that were working at different periods, and this is just for a few hours a week, right? Pickup and delivery, 3 days a week, 2, 3 hours. It worked out well for them just as a side gig, being retired, something to do. And usually it's not real physical. We've got a winch on the trailer. If something doesn't run or has flat tires, you back up to it, throw the winch on it, and it goes right up on the trailer. If you're packing a bunch of things behind it, it's a little bit more difficult, but not too physically taxing for some of those people. Makes it a lot easier to find somebody to drive if you don't have to bust your rump when you're out there the entire time. Figure out exactly what your operation is and what your business plan is going forward, and that'll get you to the result of what you want as far as whether you should offer it and what terms that you're going to offer it on, whether you're going to do it 5 days a week like we do, or do it Tuesday, Thursday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, just Saturday morning, whatever the case is, but what's best for you. Hopefully this helps you out, figure out whether you want to offer pickup and delivery or not, and exactly how you should fit it in, what you should charge, where to do it at. Do you have a limit as far as your mileage range goes? Probably so, right? Don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons if you enjoyed the content. Thank you for watching. Keep continuing to dream big. Keep continuing to push in your business, and you will go far. Have a wonderful rest of your day.